Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of War Talk. My name is Stefan, I'm coming to you from the General Warfare headquarters. Yeah, I changed the camera position, I'm trying to see if this works or not. You know, try something new every now and again. So after last week's game that, took a little bit longer to upload than normal, sorry. I've been thinking, what are some of the more effective deck themes? Not just strategies themselves, but like deck ideas and deck themes that are overarching and that work simultaneously with a commander. And I've been coming to think artifacts or enchantress decks, big spells, big mana decks. They're all great. You see those a lot in our metas, especially in different metas. You have a lot of people coming in with newer decks, and you see them playing a new general with a different theme. It's like, oh, nice, cool. But there are some decks, some themes that I personally find are extremely underrated, and I'll get to those points why in just a bit. Now, before we get started, this is my own personal opinion on these themes. This might differ from you, which are some of the most underrated themes, but this is from my own personal experience playing Magic, and this is my own personal opinion from seeing different decks that are in the meta today. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below if you like the ideas that I'm going with, especially with these themes, and if you want to see them in a future deck brew idea. Please let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon down below, and our socials are down below as well. So without further ado, I'm going to give you a list of my top five, as you say, most underrated deck themes. We're going to start off with number 5, Convoke. This is one that not a lot of people actually build around, as I've come to notice. There are roughly around 47 current decks on EDH Rec that use Convoke as its main theme. Now, what is Convoke exactly? Convoke itself is the ability to tap creatures to add one generic or one mana of any color to pay for a card that has Convoke in its wording. So it effectively helps you pay for your spells. I don't understand why there's so little deck support to it until I looked a little bit deeper into it, I should say. And I found out there's no game-winning Convoke card printed as of current date. So there is not a lot of support for Convoke when it comes to big mana, like using your tokens or using your creatures to pay for spells. Just to make a lot of creatures, just to flood the board and make your spells cost a lot less. I plan to build a Convoke deck in a future Brewing for 50 Bucks episode. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see something like that, or if you want to suggest a general for a Convoke deck. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below as well. But some of the most popular examples of Convoke cards are Court of Calling, Hour of Reckoning, Hogak, Arisen Necropolis, and Impervious Greatworm. These are just some of the cards that I can think of off the top of my head that streams Convoke. Hogak is kind of one of those intermittent cards that I find works as well alongside with Delve as well, but it is such a weird enough commander, I wanted to add it to this list itself. And my main general, if I were to build a Convoke deck around this, bear in mind this is a 3-color deck, because Convoke I find works really well with 3 colors, green, white, and black, so that is Abzan colors. And the main general I can think of to represent the Abzan and to represent Convoke would be Gave, Guru of Spores. Why? Because 1, it makes a lot of tokens and it helps pay for your spells. 2, you can use the mana or you can use the extra mana each time you sacrifice a creature to put more counters on Gave. That way, you're always putting +1/+1 counters on Gave, you're getting more creatures out when you need to cast more spells with Convoke. Our next one is Polymorph. Yes, Polymorph. This is a really weird one because there's not a lot of cards that have Polymorph abilities on it. There's currently 285 current decks on EDH Rec that support Polymorph, which is a significant increase in what we saw from Convoke's 47. So this is technically a legitimate strategy since this is over 100 current decks. Nonetheless, there's still not enough support for Polymorph itself, because with Polymorph itself, it's an easy filter for main combo pieces. and other hate bears just to get on the field. So you can have tokens on the field, polymorph one out into, I don't know, an Elishnorn or a Void Winnower just to, you know, make the entire board hate you. I don't know. But that being, it also helps you get your important combo pieces out. I've seen one or two decks with these with a lot of polymorph style cards in there. I know Jalira is a popular polymorph commander, but she's only limited in blue, despite the fact polymorph is mostly blue. I find if you expand it more, red's getting a lot more polymorph cards as well, so you can expand into Izzet. But some of the most popular examples of polymorph cards are Divergent Transformations, Synthetic Destiny, Transmorgify, and Reweave. Reweave is one you don't really see too often. I wanted to put this out there because, you know, it's a funny little card that nobody knows about, and who knows, maybe they might get more traction. For a main general, for polymorph, my best thought for this is Kaikar, Wind's Fury. Why? Every time you cast a spell, you're making a spirit. You sack a spirit to add a red mana to cast more cards, more spells. It's effectively another storm. It could be a storm general if you want to play it like that. If you want to play it like polymorph, you're going to be polymorphing your spirits into bigger creatures, and every time you do so, you're getting another spirit, which is more mana. And eventually you can get into your own combo pieces and everything. That being said, Kaikar I find is a very healthy commander for something that's also blue and red, representing the polymorph colors, but you're adding white in there as well. You're getting a lot of protection, you're getting a lot of defense, and you're rounding a lot of your polymorph strategy. Adding that white gives you a lot more flexibility and gives you a lot more utility to play different cards as well. Now the third theme we're going to be talking about today is energy. Energy currently sits at 370 current decks on EDHREC. So again, there's a little bit of an increase on this one, and it's technically a viable strategy since it's over 100 decks. And this is just a value-based deck if you build it that way. The only problem why it's so underrated, as of yet, as of the current recording of this video, there's no direct support for energy. So it's kind of lost in Kaladesh. It's just stagnant there, and nobody really thinks about building energy, even though it's a really cool, really no pun intended, underrated theme. And obviously, like, this is just something that you can easily exploit given the right build. Some of the most popular examples of like great energy cards are Architect of the Untamed, Aether Squall Ancient, Lightning Runner, and Decoction Module. These are some of the most effective cards that have energy in its text itself. And you can see from there, each one of these cards are vastly amazing, each in its own right. Lightning Runner is a combo piece. Architect of the Untamed is just extra value on top of it. Decoction Module is a combo piece as well. And my thoughts for the main general, I'm kind of split on. So I put two for this one. The first one is Yarok the Desecrated. And the second one is Riku of Two Reflections. So for the budget side of things, you can go Riku of Two Reflections, given that you have a lot of support with red, green, and blue. You have a lot of support for Temur, and you have a lot of good cards, especially with energy in these colors. Now, this is the budget way of going about it. You definitely can make copies of these cards with Riku, giving you more energy. You can make copies of the spells, making more energy. You're basically filling up your energy pool with Riku. That's on the budget side, but Yarok is probably the better way to go, since every time he triggers, an ability is triggered, it triggers twice, so you're getting double the amount of energy, you're getting double the amount of value off it. Yarok I would mainly put as more slightly above budget, not like CDH worthy, but like more competitive, like casual competitive, I would say. And that kind of rounds off what energy is all about. The second to last theme what we're going to be going through is Fight. Now, Fight currently sits at 581 current decks in the meta. This is probably the most popular theme on this video between the five of them. Basically, this is the best targeted creature removal spell in green that's not called Beast Within. Basically, you get to clear your board out for all your big creatures to swing in, and considering there's a lot of support with fight, especially with cards that give you indestructible, cards that have indestructible on there, and cards that pump up your creatures whenever they fight, this is just it could be a very viable theme and a very viable theme to build around depending on how you want to build it. Some of the most popular examples of fight are Azuria's Predation, Ovenwald Tracker, Call Me Ambush, and Brash Taunter. So you're seeing a very wide spread, as you can tell. Most of it is green. You have one red card in there. Brash Taunter's relatively new. I don't want to say very, very new because Brash Taunter's been out for a little while now, but people know about it too. So this is divergent from the mainstay of green for fight colors. That being said, what would be the main general for fight? There was a bit of a toss-up. There's a lot of them. I know Neyith of the Dire Hunt is probably the best one for these colors, considering it has fight in the ability slot as well, and getting you draw extra cards. Another one I was thinking of was Ronas, because I have a Ronas fight infect deck, technically speaking. But for this one, this might be a very weird choice for this, but I'm gonna give it to Jared Carthalion, True Air. Why? Because one, you get Monarch, which is a pretty fun ability nonetheless, not being featured in this video, obviously. Monarch is a really fun mechanic and a fun little additive to Commander games. That's beside the point. So with Jared, as long as you're the Monarch, any damage that's dealt is prevented to him. So, that being said, as long as you're the Monarch, you could fight as many creatures as you want. It's prevented from Jared as long as you're the Monarch. Because of the Monarch, every creature dies, and every other creature dies, and basically you're given white as well to round it off. As I mentioned before, with Polymorph, with Kykar being the main general for that, white adds a lot of support for these colors. It rounds off a 3-color combination. Giving this one for Naya, it gives you access to Court of Graces, which is an amazing Monarch card, and giving you Angels and Spirits. Not only that, you're getting access to a lot of removal spells, you're getting access to a lot of support, and basically, with fight, if you're going 2 colors, yeah, Neyith would be a really good choice, but for this instance, I would definitely recommend going with Jared Carthalion. And the last theme that we're going to talk about, this is something that's a very old theme, keep that in mind. This is around the time I started playing Commander. This is not a new theme at all. It's Exalted. Now, this Exalted currently sits with 227 current decks. Why is this so underrated? Because there's not a lot of people playing Exalted anymore. Basically, you're swinging alone with one creature and it gets pumped. But the thing is, there's a lot of support with Exalted. There's a lot of support with one creature attacking alone. And especially so, this is going to be the most obvious commander, so I'm just going to spoil it right now. The main general for this is Rafiq, because Rafiq is the main Exalted commander. I'm going to spoil it for you early enough so you don't have to wait for it. But some of the most popular examples are Sublime Archangel, Qasali Pridemage, Sovereigns of Los Alara, and Noble Hierarch. Some of these are really good Exalted cards. They have Exalted in the name. Noble Hierarch you see almost everywhere in CDH. Qasali Pridemage is an amazing removal spell. You can't really get any better than that. And that wraps it up for today's video. What do you guys think? Did you guys like this kind of video? Let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget, we have our socials down below. We have our Twitter, we have our Facebook, we have our Instagram in the show notes down below. And don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. I post every Friday, if I'm not late for certain videos. Post every Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every video has a premiere attached to it. So you'll be notified 30 minutes in advance when the video is gonna go live, so you have enough time to go and check it out. I've been Stefan, thank you so much for watching everybody, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Until then, cheers everybody.